Hi, everyone. Welcome again back from summer, or maybe you've started the school year, or maybe you're about to start the school year. In any case, it is back to school season, and we're here for an episode of Tuesday Tips. I'm Marin Smith, and as usual, we're here on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for 10 minutes discussing the biggest challenges facing school leaders. And this week, Ashley has come back to talk to us about back to school social media. How are you doing today, Ashley?
I'm doing well. How are you, Marin?
Great, doing great. Ashley, I'm excited to have you here because it's, as I said, early in the school year, but that's good. That's a good opportunity, right? Because schools can set their intentions, and really they can do this any time of year, but the beginning of the school year can feel like a natural time to really think about whether they want to refresh their social media strategy or engage on social media in a way that's different or maybe the same based on what worked last year on this powerful tool that is social media. So I want to start with this question of just what you're seeing, and I hope you'll share lots of examples with us. What types of content are schools sharing right now, as possibly prospective families are still kind of browsing and even considering late enrollments at this point in the year?
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing, I think people seeing faces and the people that make a school special always resonates on social media. So a personal video introduction from the school leader, from the principal, faculty introductions. Some of our schools, they have teachers come back on campus, earlier in the summer before school starts. And that could be a really good opportunity to get, to do faculty introductions of like the new folks that are starting, as well as, kind of highlight, returning teachers, ask them about what they're excited about, for the new school year. I think sharing, glimpses and, we don't have kids on campus right now. So sharing photos from throughout the school year to kind of show what students actually experience in videos and photos of, different classroom activities, transitions, morning routines, after school. Like these can really help families who maybe are new to your school visualize what their child's school year is going to look like, reduce some unknowns for those families, while also kind of building anticipation for families and kids who might be excited about coming back.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I'm thinking one thing for school leaders to think about as they're capturing content at any time during the school year is this is actually content that can be used at a much later date. So, and this, this type of date where there aren't kids in school would be a great time to have some of that video content or, B-roll available so that you could use it.
Yeah, totally. Especially, this summer, we don't know what social media is going to look like in the future, but videos are huge. Reels, we're seeing so much engagement with Reels on Instagram and social media. So thinking throughout the year about just moments you can capture on video that maybe you can do something with later down the line. I think the other thing we're seeing schools who are doing, creative things like countdown posts, 25 days till school starts, 25 things we're looking forward to. And again, those are just moments from throughout the school year of, favorite, traditions and, sports games, like these different moments that that they can kind of highlight for families who might be looking forward to coming back and give them that little bit of nostalgia, as well as giving a glimpse to families that might be new, to really drum up that excitement.
Yeah, I love that. I love that countdown post idea, and maybe a good reason to follow or at least check in on what other schools are doing to get ideas. And I know that's, part of our discussion today, but also making sure you're browsing that yourself and being familiar with, what's your competition posting? Not that you want to copy that exactly, but at least it can be good inspiration.
I think you and I both know as marketers, like there's no shame in having a swipe file, right? Of screenshotting stuff that you see, and even, things that you see of, it doesn't have to be a competitor school, but like, what is the daycare, doing that might be cute, or, different, other, Boys and Girls Club, the community center, things like that. You can get inspiration from those kinds of places as well.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, I just want to take a quick pause and welcome those of you who are still joining us a little bit after the top of the hour. We're here discussing how schools can leverage social media this school year to drive enrollment, keep families engaged, re-engage families, basically also show signs of life, right? Like, because basically nowadays, if you're not alive and well on social media, you don't exist, according to a lot of people, right? So we're here chatting with Ashley. We're here Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So we'll get back to our discussion. And I love all these examples that you've been giving us. Could you give us a couple more examples of what you mean by a behind the scenes content and kind of some other maybe examples of things like teacher prep or, what happened in the school building over the summer or other kind of creative ideas that you've seen schools use on social?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we love a before and after on social media, right? So I think if you can show examples of the classroom before and then the classroom after, when it's at its cleanest and most organized that it will ever be, right, for the rest of the school year, you can show those glimpses, fresh paint, a new mural, if there's new playground equipment being installed or fresh sod or something like that, you can show those kinds of things to really highlight your facility and get people excited for a new fresh start. I think that can be great. And then again, if your teachers come back earlier, if you had an opportunity, especially if you're bringing on new teachers and they're doing any kind of training or in service, having them going around and getting video, introducing them, or doing a blog post, having them answer a little questionnaire. We do it sometimes with just a Google form that teachers can fill out, and then you can create graphic posts for social media or just share, quotes along with their photo to help families, get a sense of the folks, especially if they're new teachers, of who their kids are going to be spending every day with.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of teachers, at least some teachers that I know, also have their own social media accounts and presences, right? So that's also something that you can leverage. And I'm thinking about one idea that I saw that was very much similar to what you described, of just a teacher who set up their phone doing a time lapse while they were prepping a wall in their classroom. And then if that post is cross-posted on both accounts and it's collaborative, then, you get all the more engagement. That.
I mean, absolutely. We have younger teachers right now who might be, have their own social followings and are excited about showing, a day in their life as a teacher. So if they're up for it and they're posting, content on social media, definitely, there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I've seen peppered in, and I'm hoping you can give some examples of, is student and parent testimonials. And these are much more directly like, an enrollment focused type of post in my mind, where you're really highlighting, this person said this, and that could be in a still post where you have like the actual words of a testimonial quote. It could also be like a video of someone talking about what the school's done for their family. What have you seen work well for schools?
Yeah, I mean, student testimonials are and parent testimonials too are so powerful. I think some clever schools they'll take the opportunity at graduation when alumni are feeling really good and take that opportunity to get a quote from them, like on video, for example, that they can then use later. So that might be something to plan for as you're thinking about, next feels like a long time from now, but a year from now, if you can, get quotes, at graduation or things like that, you could share those. Those stories can really resonate. I think, we've also seen if you're having a back to school event, we've seen schools, do something cute where the kids hold up a sign like why I chose this school. I think anytime, even if it's as simple as that and not even a video, or a quote, that can still be really powerful, and it can help with, I think, both enrollment and re-enrollment and just keeping families engaged and kind of, strengthening, helping them remember why they chose the school in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. And even yet another reason to point out that, social media and sort of getting this content for yourself is something you should be thinking about, year round, even if you're not posting it right then and there in that moment, there could be an opportunity in the future to repurpose it or either use it again or use it for the first time at a later date. So those are great tips. Last question. We have a course module that is available now on our website that gives so many more examples. And I think that's, for me, a really powerful thing when you're trying to just brainstorm about, how can we keep our social media content fresh? What are other schools doing? What are the current trends in social media? How do I stay updated? Can you talk a little bit about this course module that's available and what it involves and what a school leader might get from that course?
Yeah. This social media strategies for schools session was one of my favorites from the Grow Enrollment Summit last year. And it was, I think, a lot of our school leaders, attendees' favorites as well. It just really had some great ideas for helping schools showcase their culture, helping them connect with prospective families in ways that feel authentic and meaningful. So this module, it really will, I think, help schools to think strategically about how they're creating content, helping them to understand your social media audience's needs and behaviors, and create posts that will help to build that connection and actually stop the scroll. I think what I love is that schools will come away with a plan for how to approach social media content creation, how to create that content, and within a framework that Nisha spells out, and then how to implement that plan and how to measure what the results are, so that you can learn from that moving forward.
Yeah, stop the scroll. That could be the tagline of your goal here with social media, right?
Yep, that's right.
Great. Well, Ashley, I want to thank you for all these tips today. We're here on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, discussing biggest challenges facing school leaders. For those of you watching, you can check out that free course module on our website at growschools.com. So thanks again, Ashley, for joining us today, and for all of you who joined live, and we will see you next time.